Did you see it? I don't see it. I don't see it on here. Is it the 8? No, where is it? I don't get it.
I'm sharing out. I'll share it. I got just about every group.
It's not coming up for me. And Patty keeps coming in. Screw it. I'm just pissed. Patty keeps jumping in on my thing here.
You know I had the mics open, right?
I don't see it, John. It's not coming up for me.
Just give me the damn thing. Do
What's
this
so
every
fucking
time.
loud?
Here.
I can't even get anything shared out, so give me a few extra minutes. Because every time I go to look for it, Patty was jumping in on it.
Just take the copy and share. You know, I can't share from where I'm at.
I shit it to ourselves, shit. Just give me a few more minutes.
Huh?
Just give me another minute. I'm not ready.
Well, you got at least a minute.
I'm not ready. Crap.
Well, 48 seconds.
Good, another second. Can you play it again?
I got it. Most of them.
You shit all out?
Yep.
Okay. Hey, welcome to TIBN. Yes, this is the brew with Baby Doll, TJ, and Nurse Patty is with us tonight. Is she with us? Are you there? How are you doing, darling? I'm doing okay. I was just wondering if how's the storm over at your house?
How you doing?
This is. Oh, really? Yeah.
Right. It is just kind of still. Yeah.
I remember
I know. I moved my ass up here and brought the bitch with me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
If you're listening to us tonight, we are having a minor little hurricane up here in New Hampshire. We do not have them often enough. We really don't get them. But it's interesting to see. We have a lot of wind and rain, and a few weeks ago we had a tree that fell right across my pool once again.
Yeah. Well, it shifted a little bit. Long Island and New York City's going to get the brunt of that, and then the rest of it's just going to be like 30, 35 mile an hour winds by the time it gets up here. So it'll just be an afternoon shower. Unless it decides to slow down and creep and crawl, and then we'll be in trouble.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of water, so.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
Let's just hope it comes on and gets out. That's the plan.
We do need the water. And we are finding
Yeah,
New
we don't need
Hampshire
no
is-
more water. It's
New
rained ever
Hampshire is
since we
fine.
got here.
Yeah, not really. Well, anyways. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, our brook looked a little low the other day.
Mm.
I would like to say before we get started, please support our following groups, which is TOUGH, Truckers United for Freedom, Sovereign Rose with Lynn Stitson, Truckers for Christ, Steve Myers, and Steve, if you're listening, I hope you're doing okay. See if you can pull up my messenger so I can
Okay.
shut that out, thanks. Truckers Black the Blue with John, Truckers Find a Mile with Robert Palm, Trucks with Room to Spare, Real Woman in Trucking with Desiree Wood, and She Trucking with Sherry Moore. So, those are our groups. Support them, look at them. You can also find our shows on YouTube, Spreaker, Twitter, and if you like it, please share, hit the like button. If you don't, that's okay too, because we just do this because we love having fun. Somebody did say to me, why do you guys wear witches hats? Because we like to. I don't have to explain. I think it's nice. We like to.
It's
That's our
original.
attitude. That's our attitude because it stands for Women in Transportation or Women in Transit and Community Hour. So, take it for what you want. There's nothing satanic about a hat. And if you think that is, then honey, you need to go see somebody because
I mean, we
taking it a little too far.
could be the original name, but we chose witches over bitches.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we try to be nice sometimes.
Yeah.
I know it's a stretch, but you know. But let's get in with some trucker news that we have tonight. Again, at the end of last week, the Border Patrol seized more than $2 million from a cocaine from a tractor trailer. This time it was in Fair, Texas. Officers with the U.S. Custom and Border Patrol Office of Field Operations at the FAR International Brig Cargo Facility found $2.7 million in a large cocaine hidden in a commercial vehicle last week. Now this is the second time in the month of August they have huge seizures of drugs. It's just, that this tractor trailer was entering the U.S. from Mexico. The truck was referred for inspection. And once again, the K9 team, thank you dogs, I love those dogs.
And I don't understand, how the hell do they think they're going to get through the border patrol with that kind
I don't know. They'll take the chance, exactly.
Yeah.
Or they think they can pay some American official off, and I'm sure there's a lot of American officials that have been paid off to make themselves some money during the drug trade.
Well, we're...
I know. Can you imagine? Our upstanding Americans that they are? Oh my goodness gracious. So anyways, I know. Well, there was the driver and another person. Also last week, the wonderful Border Patrol stopped a tractor trailer carrying M13 gang members into the United States. They were heavily armed, and they were bringing heavily ammunition in with them. Thank you for opening the borders, Mr. Biden, but I also thank the Border Patrol for stopping some of them, because if they stop that one, how many actually got through? Time will tell. Time will tell the problems that America's going to have with all these people coming in from the border. It's bad enough that they're sending women and children to different cities with no inoculations of anything, never mind the COVID, but anything else. No, nothing. No Tdaps, nothing coming into the country. They have no idea about anything. But I would like to thank our President and Vice President once again. They're doing a stand-up job for the Americans. Yeah. Stand up.
Huh. Well, I didn't even know Canada was boarded up like that right now.
Yep, they're up.
Huh. Is it us on this side boarding them out, or is it them boarding themselves in?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh. Well, if that's the case, that means it's hindering the Canadian truckers to come down here and work and bring their loads back into
Yeah.
Canada.
Well, I think they're letting some of them in if they have their. Well, once again, we're going to get to that vaccination card in a few minutes.
Oh boy.
Well, let's finish some of our trucking news. As we all know, tropical depression Fred hit last week in Northeast, in the lower Appalachians, and did flash floodings up in New York, upstate New York, and there was some unconfirmed tornadoes. And about 30,000 customers have been without power in North Carolina, West Virginia. North Carolina still on the waterways, guys, so be careful if you're driving out there. Also, meanwhile, Grace, we know, became a hurricane after unleashing torrential rain, damaged and earthquake damage in Haiti. So I wonder how that's going to go. They lost their president. They were already in chaos and turmoil, the people over there, and now they have to suffer through this. I don't know if our president has even addressed this issue. I don't think so. I think was on vacation when that hit. So we'll have to see how that works out. And as you know, right now we're being hit with tropical storm Henry. So, it's Henry. I'm sorry, Henry.
Henry, I know.
They did the English version.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that happens.
It's supposed to be a 1 when it hits. So it's supposed to be a hurricane, but.
Well, it hit at 75 miles an hour, and that's a category 1 hurricane.
Yeah.
But 75 miles an hour doesn't go too big up here because we have so many hills and mountains and everything else that it doesn't really show up.
Right.
You know, if it's 75 miles going across Florida, yeah, you're going to have some damage.
Right.
So.
You think it'll do any damage to Long Island and New York?
No. Probably not.
Okay.
Well, they might have some. They'll have downed trees. They'll have water damage. You have to watch out for flash floods. And you know, the funny part is we have a lot of people who drive up in New England and they don't realize that it's very curvy up here. There's a lot of smaller roads and byway roads that border marshes and ponds here. So be careful because you never know. It may look like a little bit of water, but there's really not. They're quite deep up here.
Right.
We see that a lot. Well, my next news from the truckers is the ATRI calls for driver input on job motivation satisfaction. I always love that. Job satisfaction from drivers. I'm sure there's drivers that have that, and I'm sure there's drivers that have been in the business for over 15 years can write you a whole different story.
Right.
But anyways, in Arlington, Virginia, the American Transportation Research Institute wants to hear from the nation's professional drivers and is conducting a poll to find out what motivates drivers to work as owner-operators, independent contractors, or company drivers.
When the government keeps their ass out of our fucking business, that's when we seek satisfaction.
Yeah.
Oh.
This initiative, well, yeah. Beep, 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 beep.
Sorry.
Beep.
Did I say that?
That payday.
Right.
This initiative was identified by the ATRI's Research Advisory Committee as top priority in 2020. Well, honey, this is 221 and they're still working on it, but I'm not going to say anything. Drivers are asked to provide input through an online data collection form that will measure what job-related factors contribute to becoming an owner-operator, an independent contractor, or a company driver, and whereas those expectations have been met. The ATA believes that the information collected will provide valuable insight into understanding how drivers could be impacted by legislative and regulatory actions that may impact the way in which drivers are classified. This ATA data collection initiative will be crucial to understanding why drivers choose the type of employment they do, the motivations behind those choices, and their level of satisfaction are important for understanding what types of employment opportunities drivers are looking for and why. okay? Now, if you have the opportunity to go to the Trucker magazine, to fill out the data collection forms. The deadline for collecting this survey is February 17th. All submitted data will be kept strictly confidential, and participants will receive an advance copy of the full report. So, I think that might be a good thing to put out there. I think drivers should try to figure it out. Uh-oh, I just lost my thing here.
Well, I can just give a little shout out to She Truckin'. Last week, Sheree came on and I had an opportunity to be live with her. Her expo is, it's not your typical truck show. It's more of an educational, of course, that's what expos are. But I got a real good feel of talking with Sheree Moore last week, and she is really excited. This is going to be a very good educational expo for all drivers. The new generation, mostly the new generation coming in, there is going to be educational programs that's going to teach you how to advance in this industry rather than just staying a truck driver. I mean, you got to start being a truck driver, but then they're going to educate you in all the logistic areas, how to advance yourself, because we all know that automation is coming in. So we do have these companies that are coming in and it's going to educate you on how to advance your career once all this stuff takes effect. And it is coming, so, I take my hat off of her. She's really wanting to,
Make a difference.
And deal with the situation at hand. We might can slow it down, but we're not going to change it. So she has brought in a panel of thousands of people. It's going to be September 17th, 18th, and 19th in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Y'all go over to She Truckin', her platform, check out all the information, and I promise you this is going to be a great experience that you don't want to miss.
Yes, you don't want to miss.
Sorry.
Well, I think it would be great.
Yes.
I mean, anything that has to do, because that's another part of what we're going to be talking about tonight.
And what about that Desiree? Isn't she looking sharp these days, girl?
Yeah, she's cracking me up.
I know. That's John Grosvenor giving her a punch in the side. I seen that. Oh, wait a minute. You going to the FMCA?
Oh.
You going to be the administrator now? I wish.
I didn't give her a punch. I don't know about that. I just thought she looked like a boss lady.
Oh,
and
she?
asked her if she was
In
up
my
to be
ear.
the next administrator. We need somebody.
Yeah, we need somebody like her in there.
We do. We need a lot. We need people on those boards. I have an article I got to read about that, about some qualifications and disqualifications. But first of all, I want to get to the DriveWise adds way station bypasses in Wyoming, and they're going to be going across America. So that is going to be really great for a lot of drivers. But the two states, one along I-25 and I-80, will be activated by the end of August, with 3 more sites being planned for future activation, and they're going to come to the other 48 states and provinces, providing bypass opportunities. There are going to be more than 800 locations. So right now, the 2 sites are 125 and I-80 be activated. So I think that's going to be great. The DriveWise pre-clear customer will now receive uninterrupted bypass coverage along I-25 right now. DriveWise first site is northbound in Cheyenne, the major port of entry for those entering the state from northern Colorado. The interstate, which starts in New Mexico and goes up to Buffalo, Wyoming, where it intersects with I-90. Connects Denver, Colorado Springs, and Albuquerque along both records. A driver could see 10 to 12 bypass opportunities along I-25. Going west to east, DriveWise at 80 Way Station, Evanston on I-80, just 80 miles south of Salt Lake. And I-80 is a major artery connecting California, going all the way through New Jersey.
That's
more
all
than
I ever used was DriveWise.
More than 6,500 trucks travel I-80 through Wyoming every day. We got I-80 well covered coast to coast, so drivers originating in San Francisco could have up to 32 bypasses during the round trip.
Mm-hmm.
That all adds up. Based on the industry average of 5 minutes per way station visit, and up to an hour or more if you get inspected. Driveway customers can enjoy a meaningful cost advantage over those competitors. Reduced en route delays and more productive drive times to go straight to a carrier's bottom line. Driveways unlocks a carrier's investments in compliance to deliver world-class driver satisfaction and the highest ROI in the industry.
And I approve that announcement. No,
I think that's good.
that's the one I used on my phone, Drivewise. I
Now-
love it.
I like the traditional means, middle finger up and just keep hammering down.
Yeah, a lot of guys like that, but
Yeah.
that's not working out.
Well, you know,
Well,
you
you know-
gotta get in this grandma box. You got two over here, and you just kind of slide by, you know.
Yeah, right. Duck in behind another
Right.
truck so they see him and don't see you. when you're
Right,
passing
right,
them
right.
by.
Okay, now for the American Trucker put out a thing, they put out, what the 2,700 page infrastructure bill does for trucking. So I'm sure all you drivers are gonna read that, 2,700 pages. I don't think so. The Senate's the Senate's 1.2 trillion bipartisan bullshit infrastructure bill could be a big step toward repairing crumbling roads and bridges across the United States. It also would focus on finding new drivers and creating I love this part, and creating new ways to tax and regulate the transportation industry.
God.
Once again, boys, bend over. But anyways, there's a lot about trucking among the 2,700 page bill. The bill, which totals up to 1.2 trillion, would increase safety systems for commercial vehicles, focus on finding new drivers and other workers for the trucking industry, and test out ways to tax the alternative powered vehicles of the future. Yeah, we already know that. What are you going to do with the drivers that these trucks put up? Anyways, unlike the House version, the Senate's bill does not increase carriers' $750,000 liability insurance premiums, which a House amendment wants to increase to $2 million. This bill also does not address the truck parking shortage or independent contractor rules, such as California's AB-5, which could limit how owner-operators work within the industry. Eventually, the two sides of Congress will have to agree to one overall bill, with Democrats' slim majority in the Senate and President Joe Biden aiming to make infrastructure the signature accomplishment of his first year in office, because so far he's done a tip-top job. While there are still steps to go before Biden will get this bill signed, Dave Heller, the Truckload Carriers Association Vice President of Governmental Affairs, is pleased the bill made it so far. Our congressmen are saying now that time for infrastructure, we need to come up with a bill that makes sense and keeps this conversation going. You know, there's a highway trust fund. About $550 million of the proposed trillion would be new federal spending, but the rest of the bill would be paid by various congressional financing mechanisms, including using more than $200 billion in leftover COVID funding. As this Delta variant becomes more prevalent, the question are those dollars already spoken for? Is this real money, Heller asked? That's becoming the biggest question, which also go back to the self-sustaining highway trust fund argument. If you have that, you don't have to pull dollars from other programs. You have a self-sustaining funding mechanism that could be paid right, here we go again, guys, right at the pump with real dollars, easily collected, easily distributed. Well, Heller is happy to see Congress get closer to fixing roads and bridges. He said the federal government near abandonment of keeping the HTF sustainable just means the infrastructure will always dependent on politics. The last time Congress raised the fuel tax was 1993. The Senate proposal includes a vehicle mile traveled pilot program. Now, if it's a pilot program, you know it's going to be forever.
Right.
That will look how to tax cars and trucks with per mile user fees to fund the HTF. With a push for more electric powered vehicles, and as vehicles have become more fuel efficient, gasoline and diesel taxes can't keep the HTA solvent.
Right.
Wonderful. Just wonderful. More trucking interest. The Senate proposal said Majority Leader Schumer said he wants a vote on this month, and also includes other interest of the trucking industry. Here's a quick rundown. In AEB, this bill calls for commercial vehicles to be required with automatic emergency brake system within 2 years. Helen notes that most trucks are being built with this technology. AEB technology is proven to stop accidents from happening. Our members at TCA support the type of technology. We give the language in the bill as big thumb up. The 20 automakers that produce 99% of the new passenger vehicles in the U.S. agreed to make a EB standard by September. The next one is underride guards. Underride guards on the back of a trailer will become the law under the current proposal. These devices keep passenger cars that crash into the back of trucks and trailers from sliding beneath the trailer and seriously injuring car occupants. Trailers without them could put the vehicle out of service during roadside inspection if this bill passes. It also calls for a study of the effectiveness of side underride guards for trailers. Supporters point to crash studies done by the Insurance Institute of Highway. Well, there's another little scam there. Insurance Institute for Highway Safety 2 years ago that demonstrated the effectiveness of side guard system
Once again,
and
the
protecting
truck driver.
automobile occupants in a 30-mile-an-hour crash. Why isn't something done about the four-wheelers who are speeding and get under these trucks? I don't know.
We have to
the
pay
next
for
one-
everything.
the
It
next
comes
one-
out of our pocket
the
to
next
save
one is-
America.
Yep, it's workforce overreach.
Yep.
The proposed bill includes a few initiatives to grow the trucking workforce, from public service campaigns to increase awareness of career opportunities, to apprenticeships program for drivers younger than 21 to work interstate commerce. Younger drivers, certainly drivers under age of 1 have been truly exposed to interstate trucking. That appears that the bill is good for the industry. He advocated for this demographic. The lack of qualified drivers out there is certainly no secret to anybody involved in trucking. This is an opportunity. Like the TCA, we love this one, the ATA, oh, we just love them, have supported previous legislation to explore expanding interstate trucking to drivers younger than 21. However, the Owner-Operator Independent Driving Association has contended that for road safety. Commercial drivers' age requirement should be higher, not lower. The next one is women in trucking. Along with funding younger drivers, the bill promotes women in trucking. While women make up 47% of the U.S. workforce, they make up just 24% of all transportation and warehousing jobs. Just 6.6% of truck drivers are women, and women own only 8% of freight firms. The bill notes that adding women to the driver's workforce could also make the roads safer, as women are 20% less likely than men to be involved in a truck crash.
Not unless you got a baby in the front seat in a car seat. Did y'all see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
I'm sorry. I disagree with that.
Well, anyways.
I disagree with that.
The bill, I love this. This is where I have an issue with this right now. This bill calls for creating of women of trucking advisory boards to encourage more women to enter the field. Now, I don't have a problem with a woman of trucking advisory board. What I have a problem with is one of the women who wants to be the head of this board has never driven a truck, has never been in a truck. I mean, she might have been in a truck, but has never done any time all over the road or OT, or however you want to say it. I feel if women are going to be on this committee or this truck advisory board, they need to have at least 10 years of OTR. They have to know the business. I'm sorry. I think if you have even maybe 7 or 8 years, you have to know. You have to be OTR. You could be a company driver. Hopefully you've been the gamut, because most people that have 10 years plus have been owner-operators, have had their own businesses, have also worked as company drivers.
Right.
They know the gamut. They know the business. These people that jump in, and have 1 year experience, or I love these gals, the gals that, and I am making fun of you gals on this one. Your husband's been a driver. They need another logbook. So we're gonna train the wife. She can't drive for crap. She really doesn't drive, but we're gonna use her in that truck. Yeah, those women, you're not drivers, honey. And you know who I'm talking about out there.
Yep, they go to school and then.
Oh no, they don't go to school. They secretly getting their stuff from their husband. They're not going to school. It's not mandatory.
Well, now the training instructor program has started. So
Yes, now it has. Now they'll have to. But a lot of them don't do that. And we have classic
and then the husband
example.
gets tired of the wife and throws her out in the street, and she can't back a trailer or back up or can't drive the truck, but she wants to go solo. What do? You should have learned how to did your job. You got the CDL. You should have been doing it your damn self.
It's amazing to me because the truth of the matter is trucking wasn't always that complicating. Of course, trucks used to be small B-model Macs and 40-foot trailers. 45 was a big one and 8 feet wide, and you still see docks out there that are equipped for them. And they keep making them bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's harder and harder to drive.
Hey, if they're big enough, you can have your whole family living in that damn truck now.
Well, I've seen a family. I ran into a family in Pennsylvania that they had a truck-trailer combination. They were traveling in it and living in it. They built an RV out of it. It's pretty cool.
Well, and, you know, when I made the statement about the child in the car seat, I mean, I do have an issue with it, but I can personally say that I did take my daughter with me. I was a single mother. I couldn't take her while I was in school, but once I got out of training and stuff, I did throw her in the truck. But she wasn't a toddler. I can't figure out how this woman is going to have this toddler in this truck when she has to walk to the shipper and the receivers and stuff, and she has to get out and do. No, you can't.
Yeah, you can't leave children in your truck alone.
No, and I don't know what kind of insurance is going to let her do that.
It's a damned if you do and damned if you don't situation. Yeah. People need to survive, and you work to survive.
Right.
You work to make a living, to survive.
But they wouldn't even let me take my children until they were 8, and I had to pay $25 a month extra insurance
that's
just
your
for children.
Yeah, that's
I was
what
gonna say, there's no
it's
insurance company covering that. She just snuck the kid on, but again, she's trying to survive.
I understand that, but it's a safety issue.
It is a safety issue. Now the truck leasing, the next one is going to be the truck leasing task force. The Senate bill will also include, wants to create a task force to examine commercial truck leasing agreements. It would look at how the agreements affect vehicle maintenance, frequency, and safe operation, including driver compliance. Well, let me think. Those are all good, but how about if we look into the leasing agreements that really end up screwing the driver? Did I say that? Am I supposed to say that?
Where's my Vaseline?
The ATA probably doesn't want you saying it.
No, I don't think they do, but they end up, any of those leasing agreements, guys, you really gotta be careful, cause they start you off and you're making really good money, and when it comes towards the end of that lease, you're gonna own that truck, guess what? You don't get any more runs.
I think I heard it best put that these leasing programs, or many of them, are a form of tricking people into a modern day indenture.
Paying for their own equipment, so that they
they got them working basically for nothing or peanuts.
Now, I have to say, Rudolph Freight, the people that I work for, was a lease company. They were legit. They did take care of their drivers, and the drivers did get their trucks paid for. So there are a very, very few companies out there that are honest with their lease programs. Very few.
This is the largest bill in history. While previous presidents have tried to get these big infrastructure bills through Congress, none have come close to what the current proposals could do. If this bill passes, it'll be the most significant spending in this history. So, I don't know.
But you covered a lot of stuff on there. Did you want to go back to vehicle mileage tax or underride guards?
Well, there's a whole lot. There's just a whole lot. I don't know about the underride guards.
They've been trying to get the underride guards for a minimum of 5 years now.
For a long time.
And the people that are behind it have been horrible to try to talk to or reason with on the matter.
Yeah, and it's
the issue about the underride guards is, once again, you're saddling an industry, but the cost or the burden of the cost of having them.
Exactly. It's another cost on the driver.
Unfortunately, the FMCSA does have a exemption on the Unfunded Mandates Reforms Act.
Yeah.
And the Regulatory Flexibility Act, although they do abide by them in most regards, they can skirt it if they wish to, as long as it's for public interest.
Yeah.
Isn't that a term? Public interest. They use
public
that a lot
interest.
nowadays.
They use that all the time because, and I don't know which public they're talking about. I think it's a different dimension than the one I live in. What about you, Patty? You living in that dimension, or we're all in a different one here? Because the government, the bills they're putting out there for us don't really pertain to most Americans.
You know,
my next thing I wanted to talk about tonight is for our drivers is You know, healthcare is actually, you know, we always talk about racist stuff. Well, here's one tonight, because the healthcare goes racist as vaccinated people are preferred over those that have not had the shot. You know what this reminds me of? Remember the Dr. Seuss book, The Sneetches? The Sneetches? It's called by Dr. Seuss. It was a bunch of these little Sneetches. Some of them had stars on their stomachs and some did not. Now the ones that had the stars thought they were pretty superior to the ones that did not. So the ones that did not have stars went and painted stars on their stomach. So they could feel good about themselves and they were just as equal as the stars that did. So in the book, the stars, when the first Sneetches saw that they had stars, saw that all the buddies had stars, they decided to take their stars off their stomach because they were still going to be elitists. Doesn't that just sound like our government?
Yeah.
Right? So anyways, healthcare has gone racist. Democrats in New York City have crossed the line and ran headlong into socialist territory when they announced that people seeking to dine out had to show proof of vaccination. The rules that they have leveled on restaurant owners have them running in circles to deal with the mess of telling people who are not vaccinated to leave. They only have 1 month to get ready for the angry mobs that are about to tear through their doors. The mayor, well, they say the mayor is, how do they put here, pothead Bill? But I won't say that. I'll say the mayor, Bill de Blasio, stated that if you want to participate in our society fully, you've got to get vaccinated. It's time. The society he's referring to is the socialist utopia he thinks exists within the city. A city that has an elevated crime rate and caters to illegals rather than the legal residents. He went on to say that this is going to be a requirement. The only way to patronize these establishments is if you get vaccinated at least 1 dose. These requirements are a complete violation of the Constitution of the United States. People cannot be forced by any government body to submit to rules that exclude them from making choice regarding their freedom. The food industry and the other establishments affected by the law are the ones that are going to suffer under the mayor's socialist rules. All de Blasio has done is cut off half the population from supporting their restaurants. The rest of the people are simply going to take their business elsewhere. These businesses are still in trouble from the nasty lockdowns they were forced to endure during the pandemic. And now that they have finally been able to open up, along comes the ignorant mayor who takes away a massive chunk of their customer base. The racist mayor has stated that vaccinated people can eat inside and all others can eat outside, segregate, or do not eat at all.
Oh my God.
The Democrats have found a way to profile people based on their health choices racially. It has always been their desire to return to a time when people were treated like animals based on the color of their skin, but now it's based on your health choices. So you can't complain about what color you are anymore.
Right, it ain't about color.
One report stated that many restaurants are going to suffer. The report stated that a new Indian restaurant on the Lower East Side is expected to receive cancellation when their vaccine mandate takes effect. The restaurant is also anticipating having to deal with upset customers. Business owners are going to be forced to turn people away or risk losing their business. Companies are already getting ready to help train staff to profile people who refuse to show their vaccination passports racially. The Democrats might as well make people wear a patch that declares their vaccination status. After all, Hitler did it with the Jews, right?
Right.
So they could be easily targeted for violence and eventual death. The Democrats are copying Nazi-like tactics to get control over people. Michael Monson owns the Cargo Cafe, and he stated that, "I just don't see myself doing that, asking for proof. Do I have to turn my customers away? Do I have to turn business away?" He and others are being forced to turn away customers because their money doesn't have the same smell of vaccine coming from it. New York residents will have to show proof of vaccination before they can participate in certain types of commerce. They will have to register and utilize the city apps to show a paper card verifying their status. They might as well implant chips in hands or foreheads to check all their health records.
They're already fixing to
There
do
are
that. That's the
far
whole
more
purpose.
deadly There are far more deadly illnesses requiring vaccines, so it makes no sense to make a requirement for this one virus. I meant the vaccine is only beneficial to people for the first few mutations. It doesn't help against the Delta variant, according to some reports. The double standard is typical liberal nonsense. For people to be forced to comply with forced vaccination is not the American way. It is pure socialism, and the liberals are having their fun wrecking lives and making people comply with the demonic wishes. And the sad part is there's so many people that are out there saying, "Oh, you're the problem if you're not vaccinated. Oh, you're gonna pass the COVID to me." Well, it's funny. It's funny if you're reading it, and if you take a minute, you go to CCD, you look up the rates of who is actually getting this Delta variant. It's mostly the people that are vaccinated, and I hate to say that.
Go to hashtag protect your families. Just hashtag protect your family, and you will see what the media is hiding. And it probably won't be up long because Facebook and Twitter and everybody's going to take it down because they don't want you to know the side effects are really happening.
I hate to say that. I received a thing from today from a nurse, an ER nurse who's been a nurse. Oh my God, she's been a nurse about 20 years, Patty. About 20 years. She looks like she's had about 20 years. She, the nurses in New Hampshire are protesting. They are protesting the vaccine mandate. And they don't feel that it should be mandated for anybody that wants it, including healthcare workers. And what they're finding is these hospitals and clinics are mandating it, and more nurses are walking off the job. Doctors are walking off the job. Respiratory therapists. Just a lot of people, actually a lot of hospital workers are walking out. We are going to be in a severe crisis with our medical care because they're saying no. They do not want to take the shot. They do not want to be forced to take a shot. And I, for one, firmly believe, I don't care if you have the shot or if you don't have the shot, it isn't going to matter to me. It's like those sneeches. You either get a star or you don't. Who the hell cares? They're all the same.
Right.
So I just feel that it's up to the individual. And I don't know how this is going to play out. We're having to start school once again next week with putting masks on our kids. And it's terrible. What I didn't like is I go by the city pools in Nashua. I see all those little children swimming all together in the city pool. And next Monday we mask them up.
Right.
This is
I
ridiculous.
know this is ridiculous. And to answer Robert Green's question, my question is how long before they make it mandatory for drivers to get it? Well, as you already know, Tyson's already done it. So you can't come into their plant or deliver loads unless you've got proof that you are vaccinated.
And I don't even get it. The driver doesn't even have to get out of the truck. He can get out to open his doors, or they can have somebody in the dock open his doors, load him up with chicken. So you know something? I'm not buying Tyson chicken.
Right. Well, and they say the Biden administration and the FMCSA is talking about it.
Was it Tyson, the one that was going to ship all the chicken overseas for processing and then ship it back? So
Yep, they were going to ship. They were going to.
Right. Vaccinated.
Right. I know. Right.
Talk about contradictions here.
I know. It's crazy.
That's right, yeah. Yeah.
No.
Mm.
Right.
It's crazy, exactly. It's crazy because they went out with nothing. I mean, you know something, if you I worked in a hospital as a phlebotomist. If they had a TB outbreak, they didn't shut down the state of Florida. They shut down that wing of the hospital to clean. They notified everybody, and TB is a lot more contagious than this. But they didn't have all of us go in and be quarantined for 15 days or anything else. They gave us a TB test every 7 days. I don't get it.
You guys remember the World Doctors Alliance?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't they silence them? They threatened them. Any
Yes,
doctors
they
that
did.
came out, they told them they were going to be fined or a chance of losing their license if they spoke out against COVID.
Yeah.
We're in a sad state of affairs.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that people are getting sick and they're getting COVID. You know, it's really sad when the false promise of a vaccine. If everybody goes and gets vaccinated, it's going to take care of this. Oh, now we have the Delta variant. Oh, we might next week we might have corn pops. We might have the corn pops variant. Anybody that ate this is going to have it.
Corn
And
pop.
then the
Wait a
weeks
minute.
after that, it's
Does the
bad.
corn pops come from Corn Pop the gangster that
Yeah,
Joe Biden
that's,
helped
there you
back in the
go.
day?
There you go. And then the week after that, maybe 2 weeks from now, it's going to be, what's it going to be? Chicken feet, something, chicken feet variant. It's going to be, anybody that's coming from Timbuktu, you're going to get that variant. I mean, I don't know. It's just so hard to know. No one is telling anybody the truth. I, for one, cannot get the shot until I actually have to go to an allergist because I'm allergic to vaccines. I have to go to an allergist, and who's going to pay for that? Because it's, of course, insurance companies don't want to spend that money.
Right.
It's not something that's imperative. So I have to come up with $4,500 plus, and they still can't get the vaccine to tell them exactly what's in it. So I'm
that
kind of
was
screwed
my
too.
statement. They still don't. They can't tell us what's in the shot. So how the hell we know we could take it with our medical conditions?
Robert Greene does bring up a good point, though, and he's got a valid concern because it wasn't that long ago that they mandated that members in the transportation sector had to wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And it's probably just a matter of time before they try to pull that crappy stunt.
They're working on it.
Robert,
They're
your
working on it.
oncologist, Robert just said his oncologist told him not to take it by any means, and you're right. I was told my daughter has MS, and she was told not to take it.
I was told not to take it.
So, and I can't. So there's a lot of people medically can't take it, but this brings me up to my next thing that I want to bring up tonight, and I'm pretty proud of this because we have somebody that's done something. As we all know, some states are more than likely to allow the trampling of certain constitutional rights than others. Due to their liberal leaderships, states such as California, Oregon, Minnesota, and most of those in which is considered New England all seem to get extremely caught up in the COVID-19 pandemic and fears of widespread infection and death. And that has happened. I'm not making light of it. I'm just, And as such, most of these immediately implemented emergency laws that shut down all non-essential businesses and even some that were essential. Mask mandates were instituted. Social distancing was required, even though Dr. Fauci and his friend and wife could go to a Red Sox game, sit with each other with no mask on, but that's okay. I mean, I guess you know, it's just like Obama's birthday party. If you're part of that elitist bunch, you're safe from COVID. Okay?
Yeah.
And that made life as we knew it was forever changed at this time. However, as time and technology, including the much controversial vaccines, have brought up the worst of the pandemic, most states have allowed those laws to fall by the wayside. Hair salons and gyms were permitted to reopen. Masks were no longer required, and the mixing of one or more households became common again. The same cannot, however, be said for churches and places of worship. In states like California, New York, and Michigan, these were still prohibited from opening, and if they were open without masks or over the population limits set by the state or local leaders, the consequences were heavy. In fact, in California, changes to COVID mandates for religious liberties were not changed until lawsuits were brought to court, and then the court ordered them to be. Luckily, and somewhat surprisingly, the state of New Hampshire has not had to undergo such awful treatment to their religious freedoms, and thanks to a new law, they never will. When compared to rights of other essential businesses, Republican Governor Chris Sununu signed the bill into law last Tuesday. HB 52 states that nothing in this section shall prohibit the state government from requiring religious organizations to comply with neutral health, safety, or occupancy requirements issued by the state or federal government that are acceptable to all organizations and businesses that provide essential service. Now, while this means that the state and federal government most certainly do have a right to require a place of worship to follow health guidelines and such, they can only do so by treating them no differently than any other business or service. Basically, it makes them equal, which is what the U.S. Constitution says they are. Furthermore, it consistently established that religious services and houses of worship are in fact essential. Now, I don't think anyone would be shocked to see this kind of legislation action taken in the long-time Republican-held states like Texas, Montana, or Florida. But New Hampshire, in the heart of New England, and surrounded by states like Vermont, where socialist Bernie Sanders resides, and Massachusetts, where Elizabeth Warren comes from, I have to say I'm really pleasantly surprised. Then again, I would hope a state that has been around for as long as New Hampshire has, and has such a reputation for defending liberty, would find at least some small way of holding on to that legacy. Churchgoers and religious participants in places like California were not so lucky over the last year, having to fight for every inch of the First Amendment rights tooth and nail. Their liberal governors made sure that every church door was closed to parishioners for as long as possible. Even after bars, restaurants, hair salons, gyms were allowed to reopen and begin business, places of worship were kept shut. It wasn't until the Supreme Court heard a case in favor of the First Amendment in February that churches were allowed to open, and then a 25% occupancy was still required, and of course masks. In April, just 3 months ago, those attendance limits as well as singing ban was lifted in the state. Again, only after another suit was filed against the state and governor in the Supreme Court, but it wasn't until May that the state of California actually agreed to abide by giving churches their freedom back. Thankfully, few states have had such miserable experiences. I hope that all state legislatures see the benefits of giving the city freedom of religion and pass laws similar to the state of New Hampshire. Yes, and our philosophy is live free or die. So I hope all those patriots out there keep
That's
calling
what
our
y'all's
governor,
tag
keep
says.
making it. So and our governor did not mandate masks for schools. He did not mandate any of that. It was left up to local towns. And unfortunately, in the city of Nashville, we have a Democrat mayor who, I don't know, Patty, I'll let you take that.
She got lost.
Mayor. What's our name for him? Yes. Yes.
He's so far left leaning.
He is so far left
He's
to
way
the
out there on his own.
Yeah. Oh, that's right, the police commission.
Wow. Huh.
Well, and the funny part is he can be voted out. I mean, that's the funny part. Oh my God, we still got him that long?
Yeah. And the way I listen to all these national groups and stuff. I tell you what, y'all got some hardcore Democrats bitching and whining about all this. So I feel for y'all.
That's because we got a southern border problem.
Yes, we do. We do.
That's the one.
Ah.
That is true. You know, I love it. Yeah.
The funny thing about it is the number one reason why people leave Massachusetts and come to New Hampshire is because they enjoy the freedoms.
Yeah.
And it's a better cost of living. They enjoy the freedoms, and then they start voting for what they already had in Massachusetts. If you like it so much,
somebody
go
goes
back.
her ass back down there. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, it's crazy.
They like that tax-free stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm enjoying it.
Well, it is strange. I can remember when baby doll came here. Yeah. She was like, "What do you mean? I don't have enough for tax." I said, "Honey, we don't have tax here." What? What are you talking about? No, we don't have tax.
No sales tax.
I know. I own nothing. Clothes, food, cigarettes,
We pay-
alcohol.
No,
It's free.
we have food and meal
We
tax.
pay plenty on property tax.
Oh yeah. I bet y'all do. I mean, I
But you
imagine
know,
it averages
I
out.
don't mind paying the property tax as much as if I had to pay tax. High property tax, high insurance, high everything. Plus, you know, when we lived in Florida, the tax in Orlando, because the tourist was already 10% on food and everything else, and that was a long time
It was
ago.
6.5. We lived in Volusia County.
Yeah, it was 6.5. I mean,
Plus the insurance cost went up so much that it was almost the same cost of living as a house up here.
actually, it was more expensive
Yeah.
It was more expensive living down there than here.
Oh yeah, I bet.
You know, I mean, our electric bills were.
Robert, I would hope that a lot of trucks would do that, and I straddle fence on shutdowns, but
Yeah.
something like this would be something that would need to be addressed, because this is infringing on my
Yeah.
rights.
I
So
would be for a shutdown, but the problem is you can't get the drivers behind it.
I know.
Well,
But I have seen, like, say, Black Smoke Matters, where when they were calling for a shutdown, and there was somebody in that group, you know, a group of 25,000 members, and one of the ladies in that group says, "Oh, I'm not a truck driver. I don't even support truck drivers. I'm only here because I'm scared y'all are gonna shut down and I can't get my medicine or something." And she was really, but the point behind that is, yeah, I get the whole thing, but the point behind it is nobody wants to get behind us.
nobody.
Right.
You know, the government craps all over us. They make unrealistic regulations. They force us to be in compliance with these unrealistic regulations. You got a U.S. Senator in Massachusetts that written the FMCSA, want to know why the fatality rate has increased to 12.5%, and I'm sure he never got a response from the FMCSA because they're very good at ignoring people. The list goes on, and when you talk to people about it, they're like, "Hey, I don't want to hear it. I got my own problems." You know?
Oh, I know. No,
Well, if
I
we
know what I'm
make our
telling-
problems their problems,
I know.
they'll buck up. They'll start writing
Yeah.
Congress, and they'll tell them to fix these issues.
No, I like because everybody says, no politics, no politics, no politics. I
We don't
wanna
want
talk
no
about
politics in our groups.
No,
We don't want to talk about it.
no politics. And I think to myself, well, aren't you a bunch of asswipes? Because what do you think's happening out there?
Right.
Do you think Afghanistan? Do you think the thing that's going on in Afghanistan? How about the border? We have not heard about any more about those poor children and adults stuck in those cages down at the border. Nothing. Oh no, everything's gone silent. Afghanistan popped up, but the only thing they're concerned about is getting you that damn shot. Quick, get that shot. Let's not do the humanitarian thing and help these people out. Oh no, get your shot. Who are you to say nothing? Get your shot. Just go get your shot.
And and I
But you
respect
don't
that
have-
this lady's scared she's not going to get her medicine and stuff. But the American people need to know, if y'all would stand behind us truck drivers, we could do some shit and make the government stop some
Take
shit.
notes.
Hey,
But it would
trucking's the
take-
backbone of America.
Yeah, we could do
Hey,
some stuff, but
it's
we
not
need y'all
Duncan's,
to
it's
help
not
us.
Duncan's that runs America, it's the drivers.
I mean,
Right.
America don't run on Duncan, they run on diesel.
Yeah.
Rob
But you-
Robert wanted to make it a point to say he wasn't calling for a shutdown, he just said he's gonna quit. And,
No, I
and I'm
get
with
that.
you on
Yeah,
that, Rob.
yeah.
Well, there's
I'm
gonna
with
be
you.
a lot, I hope there's gonna be a lot of people
Well, you know
quit,
something, the
so.
thing is, you have the nurses and the doctors walking out because of mandates.
Mhm.
You're gonna have drivers walking out for mandates, you're gonna have teachers walking out because of the mandate.
But the sad part about it, it's not gonna hurt anybody but the person that has to quit to stand up for their rights.
You
And we're
shouldn't
gonna
have
be
to go
with
to
it.
such extremes.
But that's what's gonna happen.
It's no
You know,
longer a government for the
It's
people,
to the
by the
top of
people,
the hour,
you know?
guys.
It
It's to
is.
the top of the
We're
hour.
here.
Oh,
We will be
sorry,
back.
it's a good
Yeah.
show.
Just when we're getting hot under the collar.
I know, but it's the top of the hour, and you have been listening to TIBN, to Baby Doll, Nurse Patty, Tracy, TJ, and we had our producer John shining in tonight. Looks like Nurse Patty had to go take care of her son.
Yeah, she got things she gotta do.
She's
Yeah.
got stuff to take care of. But anyways, thank you for listening. We'll be back next Sunday night at 6 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your week. Remember, please, believe in America,
not the media.
You're clear.
Okay, we're off. I didn't even send it to Lee or anybody tonight. I hate when I can't share it to where I want to share it to. I can share it now.
Oops, open up the screen.
I don't send it to Carol because she won't listen.
She don't listen? No. Oh, you sent it through Messenger.
I send it to some of my friends, all the people I know through